Get ready. Okay, topic of the show, 10 games that need a remake. Now, we've had a lot of successful remakes in the past couple of years, with Link's Awakening, the most recent, Ducktales Remastered, which was an absolute pleasure and a joy, Resident Evil 2, which will most likely be Game of the Year this year, Shadow of the Colossus, which was a beautiful remake, amongst many, many others, being very, very...
Half-Life. Black Mesa,
that's not official.
Still good.
Well, yeah, okay.
Was Resident Evil 2 this year?
Yeah, started this year.
Oh, God!
Yeah.
Yonks ago.
So it shows that they're not just cash grabs, that game companies are they're cashing in on nostalgia, but they're also wanting to re-up the gaming experiences of the past successfully. So Dan and I have got top 10 or 10 games that we think should be remade, and Dan's going to kick it off.
Yeah, so first up, I think they should remake Parasite Eve. Does everyone remember Parasite Eve?
No.
You don't? No. Let me tell you about it.
Okay.
So it was originally, I think it was supposed to be a Resident Evil game on the PlayStation 1, and then for some reason, it didn't get done, and they bought it out. This game it's got the grotesqueness of Resident Evil with like mutating rats and stuff. It's got, it's an RPG. It has everything. It has like the full the menu styles of a Resident Evil game, because it was going to be a Resident Evil game. It's just a great game. They did Resident Evil Parasite Eve 2, wasn't quite as good, but this game is like solid. You know, this is one of the PlayStation 1 most solidest titles, and I'm really surprised that they didn't do another one. And so this game, if you remade this game, it would be mental. Give it an RE2 makeover.
So that's how you'd want to see it? You'd third person over the shoulder.
Well, the thing is, it's, even though it was supposed to be a Final Fantasy game, it's all in real time-ish, kind of, you can see. And
Final Fantasy
it had like a Fallout VAT style to it.
Resident Evil, so yeah.
Yeah, confused me then. I thought, what?
But it kind of plays through the RPG. It doesn't play like, the turn-based RPG. So it was like, you're moving around and stuff.
Actually, that's what I found. You're moving around and you're aiming and then deciding how many bullets you want to put in there.
Yeah, it's very Fallout when you had the VAT system and slow down time and stuff.
So you can, do stuff like that. So it starts off with the best thing is the opening is amazing. The opening is, I don't have it in this video, but you go to the opera and you're with your boyfriend. He's a drink of water. You're watching the opera and the opera lady's singing, and suddenly everyone on the stage that's not the opera lady bursts into flames, and then people in the audience start bursting into flames, but she just keeps singing.
Sounds hot.
Through the whole lot. And then you've got you are Eve, even though your name's not Eve, and it awakens in you this power. So you get this power, and as you go through the game.
The power of the Eve.
But
I get quite sleepy.
Yeah, beautiful game. Definitely needs to be remade.
Bit of a snooze.
Definitely.
Okay.
Hello, Salamander. Thank you for joining the stream.
My first game that I want to see a remake of, Conkers Bad Fur Day. And here we have the classic scene where Conker battles against a giant poo who sings the opera while throwing toilet rolls at you. No, you have to throw toilet rolls into him.
The first two games have opera themes.
Yeah, well, aren't we cultured with our singing poo? This game's really, really cool. So when Conker was first announced, and because Conker's first appearance was in Diddy Kong Racing, and he was this wholesome character.
I didn't know that.
Then he came out on a Game Boy version, not Conker's Bad Fur Day, it was another Conker's game, and it was basically just another 3D platformer. Wasn't that interesting. Then this came out, which is why it didn't have a lot of sales, which is why it's so sought after now, because people didn't realize that it was this really
adult game.
Adult, crude, they do a Saving Private Ryan playoff where teddies,
throw dunny rolls at him.
The enemies are called teddies, spelled Tediz.
Amazing.
This game was great. It was great. It was funny. It had full of callbacks to pop culture. Like the very last boss, you're up against an alien, a giant xenomorph, and you get in a giant yellow crane thing, and you have to get it and throw it out. The best part I remember is in this final boss when you're fighting it, if you don't know what to do, constantly there's a warning message going over the loudspeaker going, warning, 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 warning. And then if you don't do it in enough time, the warning voice changes to grab the alien and throw it out the window.
Yeah, like just telling you what to do.
It may or may not swear. I can't remember, but there is swearing in this game as well.
Yeah, that'd be a good. This would be a good one. Give it the medieval treatment.
Absolutely. So I'm really, really hoping that we do see a Conkers Bad Fur, and Xbox and Nintendo are playing nice now, so we might actually see it. Conker for Smash. You heard it here first. Dan.
My next one, Silent Hill. Silent Hill needs number one. Needs a complete remake.
Was that what Silent Hills was going to be?
We don't know. We could.
What is going on there?
You're in the school.
That's not Dan's helmet.
They're kids as well.
Oh.
Silent Hill needs a complete remake. You can see here it would work so well as a really nice remade Resident Evil 2 thing. There are a lot of petitions online that people have been wanting this game remade for a long, long time. And the first one, like none of this, second or third or another kid. This game really hit some scary notes. Yep. Such weird, beautiful stuff. A new generation of people need to play this game.
And I think that's the main reason that we need these games remade is because we played these games when we were younger. He's got a shiv. We played these games when we were younger and had such a great time with them. And I think it's only natural that we just want to, pass it on, let people experience those types of things. Sure, they could make new games, but, go for the cash.
Oh, Mary J said, mine's just going to be Resident Evil remakes. No, Mary J, you wait till my number one.
Oh, yeah, your number one's good. Okay, my next one, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. This was on the GameCube. This was a fantastic Star Wars game. So the first level sees you flying, obviously, across the Death Star and blowing up TIE fighters and going in the trench and shooting down towers. There was a bonus level that I played time and time again where you were Luke shooting the TIE fighters in Episode 1.
Oh, yeah. Don't get cocky, kid.
And I played that music and it felt awesome. I was a massive Star Wars fan at the time. These games, these missions were fantastic. I craved it. This was when all the canon was, all the books and the novels, so this was canon at one time, and you flew down and did missions and bombed Imperial destinations. You played as Wedge Antilles.
Wedge.
Yeah. Good
such
old
a good
Wedge.
Name. I love Wedge.
Oh, man, this is such a great game, and I just need to see it again. It needs to be back. They tried to sort of recapture it.
Oh, remake it with VR.
I agree with you there, Link. Remake it in VR, absolutely. You can play something similar on Battlefront 1, I think, in PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, there was a VR experience they did, and oh my god, I loved it.
It was so good, eh? It was like, you're just sitting there, you're sitting in the TIE Fighter, and you're looking around, and you're like...
Expert.
That's it, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So good.
This guy.
Yeah, I don't know my stars from my warts.
God damn it.
All right, what's your next pick, Dan?
I don't know. Syphon Filter. A lot of mine are PlayStation 1, I realised, but near the end of it. So Syphon Filter. You guys remember Syphon Filter?
No.
So Syphon Filter was on the PlayStation 1. It's a very crisp version of it.
It is.
Yeah. Someone's running this one on an emulator.
No, they're not.
This was just a really solid, fun game. You couldn't see your bullets. Right. I know that doesn't seem like anything now. Well, we have all games, but like back then, you always saw you're like pew coming out. But this is a game where you can see he's got a shotgun. Yeah, you couldn't see that. So this is like a Bondy kind of game, but you're like a special agent guy. You've got all these cool things you can do. You can taser people, and it
said Bondy. I thought you said bondage.
No, Bond.
What?
Bond-esque. It was just a really solid, like, thinky game where you could do stuff all different ways. And
I love a good thinky game.
Thinky game. It was just a really great game. And they made a whole bunch of sequels, like heaps of sequels, but they just really need to remake this first one.
So what is the Syphon Filter? Because those two words together don't make any sense to me.
I don't know.
Like just a funnel that you got stuck in someone's EK holding?
Yeah, he's just trying to siphon petrol out.
Yep. That's it.
That's on a Saturday night. Yep. Let's go to Macca's.
That's right.
Yeah, I really used to love this game. I like your running style, like what you look like. For a PlayStation,
it's got a lot of quick movement to it for a PlayStation.
And like he leans like really well, like with his like. I mean, some of it looks a bit whack, but like, what's he doing here? Arming missiles. doing things. Like your missions were like you're plonked down, and it was you're plonked down. It was kind of like go do the mission, like go do this, and you had to kind of work out how to do it. You'd play the mission over and again. You're, I'll do this, I'll do that, and like it was just good. Like,
did you get a bit lost because there was no training montage?
Nah,
no training area.
No.
Okay.
There was a training area.
Okay.
What do you mean?
My turn. A game that not many people played, but really, really deserves to be, is Blast Corps. I've spoken about this before on the show. It's about a nuclear weapon on the back of a truck is going in a straight line, and you have to save the world by going in various vehicles and bulldozing houses and everything out of the way. This was made by Rare. Yeah, it was made by Rare. It's a really, really cool game.
It's a pretty fun game. So I can't get like the drifting in it.
Oh, the drifting was the worst. So it had vehicles. They had a vehicle where you shot out the sides. They had a giant robot that did rolled around and then did dragon uppercuts to blow up places. That's the nuclear war truck. There. Just a lady comes on screen for no reason. And then after you finish the main game, post-game, you go to the moon, and then you go to Mars, and then you go to Uranus, and you do different planets with different varying amounts of gravity. And one of my former friends actually platinumed this game. Platinumed it. I still think he's one of the only ones in the world to do so. I think you even go to the sun, maybe.
Ooh, nice you said Ocarina of Time for Switch as a remake.
Yeah, that's a give me, though. Like,
done in a Breath of the Wild style? Wild style.
Well,
remember that game?
Is.
I mean, movie?
It basically is Breath of the Wild. That's just refined.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, your turn.
What have I got? What's next? Apocalypse PS1. Does anyone remember this game?
Isn't he the first mutant?
No. This is a game where it's like a shootery one. Heaps of explosions, heaps of other things. Best thing is, the character's voiced by Bruce Willis.
Yeah, right.
So, full Bruce Willis, as part of the game, he's like, come on guys, come and get me! And we can't have the audio. But, it was just a really good, solid, Bruce Willis. Someone said. Real good, solid, what are these games kind of called? Not rail, like a corridor, shooter. This is the start. Lots of explosions, lots of aliens. It felt like
20% health. That was great.
It felt
for the podcast listeners. He grabbed some health and it just came up entirely of the screen as 20% health.
Particle beam. It was very a la
Checkpoint.
Fifth Element kind of thing when the Fifth Element came out. And it was smooth. It had real motion videos you can see in it here for the PlayStation 1. That was kind of a big deal. Gore, shoot things heads off, and it goes from like, it had all different views. So you can go from sideways scrolling to 3D to all these different things. It was just a good, solid game. The controls were good. Oh, he says it's a shooty McShooty, Floppy said.
Yeah, what about the comment just above that? That game was woeful. What are you doing, Dan?
Shut up, Mary J. Oh man, I liked it.
Oh,
it was a trust between this one and one. And
you're allowed to have guilty pleasures because the next one's my guilty pleasure. 100% health. Next game, Brayden, for me. Oh, these games were so good.
Oh man, I love these games.
I am, of course, talking about WWE No Mercy. Ooh, I don't know if you ever played any of these games, Dan, but they were so good.
I don't do wrestling. I do like the crowd, though. It's like a Mortal Kombat crowd.
So these games, it was button combinations. Like you lock up by holding a button, and then by pressing sideways and another button, you might grab them into an arm bar, and then you might put them in a headlock and flip them over and do a suplex. But you could create your own wrestler as well. At the time these games came out, I used to make videos of our own backyard wrestling federation with my friends. King Kaiju was involved. He was called the Garbo. We used to make our own wrestling videos like stupid teenagers do. I once had a fluoro tube smashed across my back.
Nice.
Yeah, that stung. Anyway, these games were so much fun and such a really simple but involved storyline. After No Mercy, they went around to... he's getting some Dan's helmet there. They went to...
Oh, he's getting Dan's helmet. Look at him. He's getting Dan's starfish.
So yeah, you could create your own character. It had a really simple storyline. It was just a lot of fun. After this, I went to a different kind of formula for PlayStation and the SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain and all those types of things. I just wanted to come back and remake these because they were fun, even if they're junky graphics like this.
floppy pay me out. Next one will be Die Hard Trilogy on PS1 for Dan. I was thinking about doing that. But I didn't. Carlin says that he liked one better than Apocalypse. You know what, Carlin? I reckon I did as well and I got them confused.
All right, what's your number one, Dan?
My number one, I want to see a remake with amazing graphics, the whole treatment of Maniac Mansion. The original Maniac Mansion. This game was so clever. Has anyone played it in the chat?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Brayden, do you even know this game?
I think you guys talked about it once in a video a little while ago.
Oh, we did a crap game review of it.
There we go.
It's such a good game. You can play at, so there's all these characters you can choose from. You get to choose 3 of them.
And they are so stereotypical. It's hilarious.
Yeah, there's like a Poindexter, a surfer, a jock, a lady.
Lady.
And there was and each one of them could do different things. So just depending on firstly who you chose, it changed the whole way you had to play the game.
Yep.
And it was all about getting your characters, I'm going to put this guy here and this guy in this room and then go down with this character, press this button so that character can then do this, which will make this guy walk out of this door, And it was just this amazing game though as a kid, and it was so much exploration. And the fact that there were psychopaths in this game and crazy. It's like Resident Evil BioShock of 1992. You got these horrible family in this house that you're just always trying to get around and stuff. And then one of you might get caught and put in the dungeon. You have to work out how to get the other one out of the dungeons and doors a lot. It was such a good game, and they could remake this game. It would be so good. Oof.
You want it as a hard R?
Yeah, man. I want it borderlining X. I don't. Someone said, Leather Shoot Larry. Yeah, I don't want that.
No one wants that in the history of anything.
Leisure Suit Larry in 2019 is just a man getting yelled at.
Hey, VD. How you going, buddy? Thanks for joining the stream.
All right. Well, before we go on to that, Link, Cullen Budd in the comments said Nier needs a remake badly. Original had a small budget, which led to a rubbish gameplay, but amazing story. Now it can have Square Enix's budget pushing a Platinum Games product. Guaranteed moneymaker.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with you there, Link.
Nier Automata is in my top 3 games of all time.
And it's still great. Speaking of top 3 games of all time, my number 1 is indeed one of those games. Now, we've mentioned it quite a little bit on this show.
Snake.
It's Snake for the Nokia 5110. Chrono Trigger. The best RPG of all time. I'm a story-driven guy. I love story. I love characters. These 3 on screen now, Chrono, Kairu, and Mal, are some of the most sweetest, most cherished characters of my teenage years. I bonded with these guys so hard. The storyline is amazing. I love time travel storylines, and they did this brilliantly. Now, they have technically redone this, not remade it, but redone it for the DS and for the PlayStation. They introduced anime cutscenes from Akira Toriyama, who we all know from Dragon Ball. Then a bunch of fans got together and started doing Chrono Resurrection a few years back, maybe even 10 or so years ago. And we can see it on screen here. It's a fully 3D rendered Chrono Trigger game. We can see Chrono walking around his house. It's... Is
that all they did?
No, they did Battle with Magus as well.
No, I mean, this is all they made of it.
No, they did a couple.
What, the whole game?
Most of it. It got put a cease and desist put on it by Square Enix.
It's cease.
Whatever.
Cease and
die.
Cease and die.
Stop it and die. But yeah, I want to see something like this. I really need to see something like this. Please, I'm lost for words. Just give me what I want. I'm on the internet.
Give me what I want on the internet.
Anyway, more Chrono Trigger, please.